Chill Pills versus Sensei. First game, BDB down with Alexia. Going to be trinket out Chill Pills with a quick blind onto Sensei. Was like going to get a trinket out of Sensei, but looks like with the relentless trinket was not going to sit that blind long at all. Chill Pills trying to see if he can get back over to Sensei. Going to group him back over. I don't think he's going to be able to get that blind anymore. Zuen join in. So a lot of the Chill Pills burst together with a grippy hand. It's kind of out of the window, dropping down Death of Decay next to Sensei behind the pillar. Is going to throw down random BDB, not real BDB, just random proxy BDB. Actually, the amount of damage Windwalkers do now with BDB because of the proc, almost majority of your damage is just BDBs, because you have a lot of little hits that'll proc BDB. You have Fist of Furies, you have punches, you have your images, you have your Zuen. So you have a lot of little hits that will get procs of BDB, which is just so much shadow damage for monks. Kind of crazy, at least for PvE content. Gonna be Sensei trying to go build up a little bit of resource here as he's getting some damage to Chill Pills. Chill Pills actually feeling the hurt pretty early on. Is gonna be jumping on the underside of the pillar pretty early with a Warlock Hailstone from Masonic consumed. As he's trying to kite out the monk as best as he can. Chain of Eyes is fantastic for it. He can at least put some chains on the monk and walk away from him. Get away from Fist of Fury. Get away from many of his hits. Gonna be a port for Sensei really early. Blind, but Chill Pills trying to see if he can get a stun onto Sensei. Most likely gonna be like human racial. He's trying to see if he can waddle away so that Sensei doesn't break out of it immediately. Fist of Fury is gonna be parrying out Chill Pills with an AMS. It's gonna get a stun to Sensei. Second stun to follow. Disarm Chill Pills. Does get himself a lot of health, however. That's gonna be a pretty big heal right before he got disarmed. And Sensei is looking for that complete reset away from Chill. Did burn a human racial. That relentless, I think, is really putting a dampener into Chill Pill's plan of blind into that Remorseless Winter Stun. And also it looks like Chill Pill's changed up the strategy. He's playing that Sindragosa's Fury on a 1.5 minute CD with that AoE stun. So I think what he's going for is Remorseless Winter into Sindragosa, or not Sindragosa, but it's called, what's it called? The Dragon Strike, the Air Strike. That's all I got the name for it. That's all I got in my head right now. Somebody in chat will tell me. I'll be able to remember. I literally just forgot. BDB down on Chill Pills. Trinket is going to be yoinking back the monk. That's going to be disarmed. But the blind is up. He's going to get that stone over Sensei. Got himself the chill streak rolling between him and the pets. Potentially big damage over Sensei. Yoinked him back over. That's going to be potentially another yoink. Fist of Fury stopping down Chill Pill's assault right now. But it does get interrupted really early. Chill Pills with yet another grip onto Sensei. The monk is short-sighted and everything. Does he have anything left at all? Chill Pills got himself the 4-piece. Oh, slam it down. Big damage worm. That's the one. That's the ability I was thinking of, chat. Thank you, boys. Frost Worm's Fury. That's the one. My brain could only hold so many class abilities, and that one, I remembered Chill Streak, but forgot Frost Worm's Fury. That's how that went. Level Scooty is going to be up next, dropping down the big Recklessness with the Blaze Shot to follow is going to be activated. That CC Mutagen Trinket, lots of damage to Chill Pills. Wait a second, this warrior just got so much pressure, just chasing after Chill Pills, cannot be stopped because of the banner, literally unstoppable. IBF, everything going to use, so that's going to be a bad sacrifice. Chill Pills under a ton of pressure, needs something, anything, he needs a flesh cap. Oh no, Evil Scooty just made himself immune to CC. And just ran Chill Pills out of town with Fang jumping in there. Not going for the same strat. Evil Scooty popping off every single defensive. Trying to see if he can heal up as he's trying to battle through Fang. Fang going without Recklessness. Potential big damage. Evil Scooty doesn't have any more defenses. Trying to give himself a little bit of survivability. Unless he can disarm or something. I think maybe overfear onto Fang. Oh, and as he leaves Fang, making sure to execute him midair. Taking him out. Almost looks like he kind of hit him with a battle for a home run. Gonna be Chicago taking a bit of that Furious Warrior damage. Does get the Raptors rolling. There's going to be a lot of Maelstrom rotating. It's going to be a Reflect for Fang in case Chicago goes on, I think, for an Ellie Blast. I don't know what you hit yourself with. Did you hit yourself with a Frost Shock? I think it would just hit yourself with a Purge, because I don't think Purge does anything to ya. Chicago is going to hit him with that Chain Harvest, harvesting a lot of the health from the Warrior, who is looking to bloodthirst it back to him, recuperating it in the battle. In the bloody battle. And Chicago backing up out of that. I think trying to see if they maybe be able to set up for a big burst. Sunder with a stun onto Fang. Potentially big damage. Ascendant's joining in. Fang is going to have to fight a Shaman that have ascended beyond all belief. Reflect is up. It's going to reflect one of the wind strikes back to Chicago. And Fang looks like he's going to go through full recovery. Big and regeneration. Regenerating all that health. Flash cut around the corner. Chicago with a slow, trying to mitigate it by going Ghost Rule, but still pretty slow down. as a lot of the flesh cut was able to coalesce around the warrior. Was not able to finish that full flesh cut, so he doesn't have the health increase from health regeneration from it and the immunity benefits, but still in the action. Chicago backing up out for a little bit versus Fang, but can't really go anywhere. Warrior has a full slow with a banner, absolutely unstoppable. Unless Chicago get a way to stop him, it's going to be a wall getting used. 40% damage reduction. Is it going to be enough? However, Fang still on the chase. Chicago does find some line of sight behind the pillar. Auto attacks is still making their way through, but Fang isn't able to get those crushing blows. He isn't able to get those rampages in there, unable to get the empowered bloodthirst rolling. He's going to back out with that Earth Elemental. As Chicago gonna finally walk away from the pillar for just a second. Fang just needs to get a stone to Chicago. And just find a way to stay on Chicago when they go into Ghost Wolf. Does not have a stun, can only play with a fear. Blaze Storm, Chicago just recovered a lot of health from that Chain Harvest, but is gonna try to see if he can back away from Fang. Is definitely gonna try running as soon as possible. As soon as their health gets low, the small pillar Raptor form is going to give him enough mobility in order to try to see if they can get away from the warrior. Sunder with a stun. Fang takes a bit of damage. Try to go for a bit of a Zerker Rage to break out of that Sunder a little bit earlier. And Chicago with a Ghost Wolf just trying to back up out of there. 6 minutes into the duel. 9% dampener. Going to make it a really tough match. And Chicago does escape with about 20-ish% health. Looking like they're going to make a bit of a recovery here. Fang has full bar of rage ready to go. Chicago pokes out for a second. Going to be a reflect. Chicago looking to get more cooldowns back with the Storm Thunder Charge, I think it's called. Thunder Charge, I believe. Chicago getting kind of low. Execute range. Ghost Wolf is busted away from that Ghost Wolf for a second, trying to make some kind of damage happen. But like I said, eventually it's going to be down to that kind of a game, where the warrior is going to be able to absolutely overwhelm you. With Invisity up next as the Outlaw, trying to see if he might be able to play versus Fang last time, but it didn't quite work out how he wanted to. 12 minutes into the duel, 42% damp, and a cheap shot by the Rogue, going for a Adrenaline Rush. Building a lot of comp points, got himself a full kit shot versus Fang. Is he playing like a pistol shot build, or is it like for a Vanish? I may be playing a Vanish build actually. I'll try to pay attention to it a little bit better. Gouge on the Fang after that disarm. Fang finally gets his weapons back, finally gets access to his eyeballs again after that gouge. It looks like he's just going to try to see if he can crush the Rogue right then and there. Evasion out for the Rogue. Fang just needs to wait it out. This is where Invisity can be pushed in versus the Warrior. It's going to go for the leap as the kidney shot comes down. Invisity going for a grapple hook around the corner, getting some spikes on the Fang. Fang just waiting out for the defenses to be done. Just trying to see if he can build up maybe potentially for some dam. Going to be Invisity with that vanish. Fang looking for the recovery. Another gouge is going to be Zerker Rage to help him get out of there. Does not have a charge by the looks of it. Does have the Kevin Slime to at least heal off of, so that's exactly what he's going to touch. Blaze Storm versus the Rogue. Just trying to see maybe he might be able to immune any of the damage. Maybe a Kidney Shot. Next Kidney Shot can be pretty deadly for Fang right now, actually. Looks like he's just going to back up out of there. Maybe go for a Flesh Cut. He still has the Kevin Slime chasing after him, so he can get a little bit of healing, a little bit of resources from that thing. Does pick up a little bit of healing, too. And it looks like Invisity potentially going for a reset. Fang behind the pillar. I think he wants to go for a full Flesh Scout, but he's going to know where the Rogue is at in order to go for one. In order to go for a full recovery. Hitting Invisity with a slow. SC opens up with a cheap shot. The Rogue just goes in. Sinister Strike spamming. Kidney Shadow versus Fang. Trying to see if he makes some damage. Rerolling the bones inside of your opener. Best to reroll the bones outside of the opener. Also, Invisity, do you not have a trinket? Okay, so he's running Aegis trinket. I know he's running that. What other trinket is he running? Is that just like full defensive Aegis Battle Master? Or maybe like an Aegis proc trinket? Gonna go for that invisibility sap onto Fang, who is gonna Zerker Rage out of it, interrupting that Flesh Cut with a quick pummel. Pummeling Rogue. Disrupted that cast. Fang jumping down, potentially going for the leap. Is gonna go for the leap, potentially a Flesh Cut. Looks like he's actually just gonna chase after Invisity. He should know the next Kidney Shot could be pretty deadly. Is gonna have a trigger for it. Invisity, potentially with an evasion. Trying to see if he can blast himself out of there. Fang does have the banner. Trying to see if he can catch up to Invisity with crushing blows. Letting him reconnect. Vanish for the Rogue. Is gonna go for the cheap shot. It is gonna be heavily DR'd. And with the Cloak of Shadows, Invisity just doesn't really stand much of a chance at the very end. With iFox being the last one left. Running in there as a survival hunter, going to be a full Flesh Cut out for Fang. Does have a defensive, but without a trinket and a lot of the cooldowns, I think he might be in a tight spot. Blaze Storming to break out of those slows. Away from iFox, might have to pop big defensives, is going to start trying to recuperate some healing whenever he can. Charging towards the pet. He can't really control where the hunter is going to be, but he can definitely control the pet. Quick Flesh Scout by iFox as they get some cooldowns rolling, and Fang is just going to stay on the pet, get some Bloodthirst in there, try to get whatever healing he can. Got himself Reflect versus iFox, not even paying attention to the hunter whatsoever. I don't know if he got a fear anymore. is gonna get himself one more. I think it pegged to victory. It's just so heavily TR'd. Fear onto iFox. Fang is just trying to do whatever he can just to survive. Does this miss? He just flush cutted, so he doesn't really have much work in here. Maybe he has a regenerating again. Maybe he can go for that Zandalari racial. Again, just trying to avoid the pet, trying to avoid the hunter. But there's only so much you can really do in this situation. Killshot gets him deadly low. He does have dots on him and looks like it's going to be down for the count. With Unspoken potentially getting himself a quick duel versus iFox. Trinket by the hunter immediately. Guys, it was a kidney shot by the rogue. Freezing trap to follow. Does he just go for a trinket? iFox is just going to go for many, but it's just blind onto the hunter. No more trinket available. The pet was trying to see if they could keep Unspoken out in the open, but I think the rogue should be able to sap him out. I don't know if the rogue has a common points for this. He's going to have himself the... Not even need the trinket. He just got himself burst. Oh, actually, no, the trinket did do something. Trinket did do a bit of burst. Rogue just went in with the shadow blades and everything, taking him out. Fang trying to go for 3 kills in a row. Man, almost was 4, but if the dampening wasn't that high, he might have been able to come back. He might have been able to return. Alrighty, boys, let's get another one going, yeah?